Hi, we at Video Professor understand how hard it can be to learn to operate a computer. In the next few minutes, you will see just how easy we make it. You know, nothing will teach you as fast as our videos. So in no time, you will be on your way to achieving your goal, knowing how to operate your computer. By having this video, you can refer to it and learn from it at any time. Now, listen to what some people just like you found by using our videos. You know, they really work. So enjoy this easy computer learning, and thanks.
If you're ever trying to learn a computer system through manual or on your own, have you ever sat there and said, God, I wish somebody who just knew how to do this would just sit down and show me. I hate trying to learn it on my own. And that's exactly what these tapes do. They sit there, they're a tutor right next to you, and they show you just how to do it.
I was kind of amazed. I started out with the first one and, gosh, didn't have it on but maybe 15 minutes, and I knew more, it seemed like, in that short a time than I did reading 50 pages in a book.
People have libraries of books. Today people have libraries of tapes, and Video Professor would be an integral part of a personal or a professional tape library.
As a teacher, I really appreciate the step-by-step organization of the tapes. They allow each person to work at their own pace, in their own time, and to review as necessary.
You can go back and review whatever you want, and you don't have to have a teacher there saying, "Don't you remember? I told you."
Welcome to the Video Professor series of computer learning tapes, the nation's #1 computer trainer. We'll take you step by step through learning to use your computer software. On the screen now are some other tapes available in our series. When using these tapes, we suggest you watch them in their entirety, then go back with your computer and practice each step. In keeping with the Video Professor's dedication to giving you the best lesson possible, we have packed these tapes with information and sometimes move at a pace that is faster than you will be able to follow along with as you are working with your computer. Remember, you can always pause or rewind the tape to learn each part. Now let's get started. And welcome to my tape on Word version 7 for Windows 95, one of the most popular and powerful word processing programs in use today. It makes working on any business or personal word processing project a snap. Although this tape is intended for people who are new to Word version 7, it will also be useful to veteran Word users who are upgrading and are new to the Windows 95 environment. With this version of Word, you get all the advantages of this powerful word processing program, along with the advantages of working in the Windows 95 environment. You can have Word and several other applications open and running at the same time. For example, you can take text and objects from Word, graphics from another program, numbers and charts from Excel, and combine these elements together to create a well-balanced, professional-looking document, all without a lot of complicated file exchange procedures or stopping and starting programs. Because Word version 7 works within Windows 95, it is important that you understand this environment. You should know how to use the Start menu to open an application program. You should also know how to use your mouse and keyboard to select options within pull-down menus and dialog boxes. If you don't understand how to accomplish these actions, I strongly suggest that you see my series of tapes on learning Windows 95 before starting this lesson. And in this lesson, you will learn how to control Word's environment, its setup, and features. You'll also learn how to enter, block, and modify text, plus save document files to disk. In addition to those skills, you'll learn to use Word Spell Checker and Thesaurus. You'll learn how to print your Word documents, too. And at the end of this lesson, I'll show you how to insert a graphic into a Word document. Before going any further, I'd like to introduce Suzanne, my student helper, for this lesson. Simply follow along with her, and you'll be using this program in no time. Later in this lesson, we'll save our work to disk. Suzanne and I will save to floppy disk to avoid cluttering up the hard drive. I suggest that you do the same, so make sure you have an empty formatted diskette on hand for this lesson. Okay, everyone, at this point, I'm going to assume you have Windows 95 and Word 7.0 installed, and your system is up and running. If you don't, I suggest you do so at this time. From the Windows 95 desktop screen, there are several ways to open Word. For those of you who have Microsoft Office for Windows 95 installed, all you need to do is locate the Microsoft Office shortcut bar, then click on the Start a New Document icon. When the New Document dialog box appears, make sure the General tab is selected. Then double-click on the blank document icon if you are going to launch Word from this dialog box. Suzanne, although we have this icon, I want to show our viewers another way of opening Word. So click on the Cancel button. Once done, open the Start menu and choose the Programs menu item. When the program list appears, find the Word icon. It may be on its own or under the Microsoft Office heading. Once you locate the Word program icon, double-click on it. The Word screen you see is the out-of-the-box display. If your screen differs from Suzanne's, don't worry. As we explore the Word screen, I'll give you commands for suggested changes to your display. By the end of this section of the lesson, everyone should have basically the same look on their screen. Now let's begin our voyage into the world of word processing by looking at Word's basic screen features. At the very top of the Word screen is the title bar. It is a basic feature of any Windows application. On the left side of the title bar is the Application Control menu. Click on it, Suzanne. This menu contains commands to control the size and position of the Word window on the Windows desktop. It also allows us to close Word. The commands in dark print can be chosen while those that are shaded cannot. Suzanne, press your Escape key to close the Control menu. Next to the Control menu is the Caption. It tells us which application and document window we are working in. Microsoft Word appears as the application name. It is followed by the generic document file name, Document 1. For those of you who have Microsoft Office installed, its shortcut bar will appear on the right side of the title bar. And in the far right corner, everyone has three command icons. They are used to size or close this application. The first icon is the Minimize icon. Clicking on this icon closes the spreadsheet window so it appears as a name button on the task bar. The second icon is the Maximize and Restore control icon. Right now the application window is maximized, so the icon shows a picture of double pages. Clicking on the X button closes the Word program.
Professor, why do we have two control menus and two sets of control icons?
This second set of command icons and the second command menu control the document portion of the program. Suzanne, click on the bottom Maximize Restore icon. Now look at the change on your screen. We reduced the size of the document. The document window runs inside the Word application window. In general, the data you enter is stored and displayed in the document window, while the power to manipulate that data comes from the application window. For those of you who are still new to the Windows environment, let's take a quick review. First of all, we have the Windows 95 desktop. It is always running behind your applications. Our Word application runs within Windows 95. Its window frame appears on the desktop while our Word document windows appear within this application window. The application window is sometimes called the parent and the document the child. You must have an application program or a parent open before you can have a document or a child open. There may be multiple children all running within the same parent window, which means we can have several document windows open within the Word application all at the same time. You'll notice the title bar changed after we reduced the document window. The caption separated into an application caption on the application window and a document caption on the document window. Since the application or parent window takes precedent, let's look at its layout first. We've already covered the application title bar, so let's look at the menu bar. It is the second line of the application window directly below the title bar. Its pull-down menus give us access to all of Word's commands. The File, Edit, and Help menus are standard window application menus. The others contain functions and commands related specifically to Word. The Windows title and menu bars will always appear on your screen, but you can choose whether or not to display the other features. Suzanne, pull down the View menu. Within this pull-down menu, we have commands that control the way our screen looks and functions. The first four choices, Normal, Outline, Page Layout, and Master Document, allow us to view our document's information in a different way. Keep in mind that these only control our view of the screen. They do not control how the document will be printed. A dot or bullet next to an option indicates that option is selected. The Normal view is the default for this setting. This is the view we will use for this lesson. Viewers, if you have a different view, just click on the Normal option. If you selected a new view, your screen will reconfigure, and you will need to reopen the View menu. Selecting the Full Screen command will give us a blank screen with no menu or toolbars. We really want to learn to use these tools, so we'll skip over that command and move on to Toolbars. Suzanne, select the Toolbars command. Within this dialog box, we see a list of available Word toolbars. The default settings should have the Standard, Formatting, and Tip Wizard toolbars toggled on, as well as the Color button and Tooltips options at the bottom of the dialog box. The check marks indicate an option is selected. Suzanne, let's toggle on another toolbar. Click in the box next to the Database option, then click on OK. And just like that, we have a new toolbar on screen. These icons are used in database work, so we won't need that toolbar for this lesson. Pull down the View menu and select the Toolbars command again. Once the dialog box is on screen, toggle off the Database option, then click on the OK button to remove the Database toolbar. Once done, pull down the View menu and select the Toolbars option again. The buttons on the right side of this dialog box allow us to customize each of these toolbars. We can create new toolbars and customize existing ones. For this lesson, we'll stick with the default settings. Suzanne makes sure there are check marks next to the Standard and Formatting options, plus the Color buttons and Tooltips options at the bottom of this dialog box. Toggle off any other option, then click on OK. Open the View menu once more. Once it is open, click on the Zoom control. On the left of this dialog box are your view choices. Each number represents a % of magnification. Suzanne, arrow down through the choices and notice the little preview screen in the dialog box. It shows us what our document will look like with that zoom percentage. The larger the number, the more magnified our document appears. As the number decreases, we are shown more of our document. Changing the view will only affect the look of the document on your screen. It will not actually alter any graphics or text. Everyone be sure the 100% circle is marked, then press Enter or click on OK. Suzanne, pull down the Tools menu and select the Options command. This dialog box is stuffed full of choices. Right now we're interested in the View options, which probably came up in front. If they didn't, click on the View tab to bring them to the front. The View page has 3 sections, and each has several checkoff boxes to turn the choices on or off. Viewers, I want you to have the same options as Suzanne. Highlight is the only choice that should be active in the Show area. Viewers, if you have any of these options toggled on, deactivate them now. In the Windows section, all 3 options should be toggled on. We want the status bar and both scroll bars on screen. The Style area width should be set at 0 inches. In the Non-Printing Characters area, click on the All option at the bottom of this list. These non-printing characters appear to help us edit text and control a document's formatting. With these options checked, click OK to close the dialog box and apply any changes to your screen. Below the menu bar is the standard toolbar. With it, we can quickly access many of Word's most commonly used commands and features such as saving or opening documents. Suzanne, move your mouse pointer slowly along the buttons on this bar. As you do, notice the little flags that appear. These are tooltips. They tell us that the standard toolbar has icons for creating, opening, and printing documents, spell checking, as well as icons for the cut, copy, and paste commands. On the far right side of this toolbar is another way to control zoom factor. Just type in whatever zoom factor you want, or you may use the drop-down list to select a zoom percentage. This box should show 100%. Below the standard toolbar is the formatting bar. This toolbar allows us quick and easy access to common text and document format features. On the left side of this toolbar we have 3 windows. One for styles, another for font type, and yet another for font point size. Normal should appear in the style box. Suzanne has Courier New in the font type box, but let's change it for this lesson. Click on the drop-down list and select Times New Roman. Everyone should have that font available to them. And in the font size window, make sure 10 points is selected.
Professor, do I have to use these toolbar buttons?
No, you don't, Suzanne, but these toolbar buttons do allow us to access some of Word's best and most commonly used processing features much quicker than we can by using the pull-down menus. Suzanne, pull down the File menu and select Save As. This is the dialog box we'll use to save a new file to disk. Remember what it looks like and press your Escape key to close it. Now click on the Save icon. It has a picture of a floppy disk on it. Once again, we are given the Save As dialog box. The menu command and the toolbar button do the same thing. The Save icon we just selected normally just saves any changes after we have named a file. However, since we haven't named this file yet, we are given the Save As dialog box. We aren't ready to use this, so press Escape to close the dialog box.
Professor, what does the box with the light bulb in it do?
This is a new feature called the Tip Wizard. It will give you a different help tip each time you open Word. It also suggests alternative ways to do things as you work. Suzanne, for this lesson, please turn off the Tip Wizard by moving your mouse cursor on the Tip Wizard, then pressing your right mouse button. The list that appears is called a shortcut menu. Shortcut menus give us quick access to different Word commands and features depending upon which area we right-click on. Since we right-clicked within the toolbars area, we are given a list of toolbar commands. Click on the Tip Wizard to toggle this option off. At the bottom of the screen is the status bar. It's a multi-purpose information area. It can help us determine what action an icon bar or selected menu command will perform. Suzanne, move your mouse pointer to the Show Hide icon. It has a backward P symbol on it. The tooltip gives us a very short explanation of this icon. It's not too descriptive, so let's look at the left side of the status bar. It tells us that this icon shows or hides non-printing characters. These are the special formatting symbols. We just selected them in the Options dialog box by clicking on the All option. Currently, we have only one non-printing character on the screen. It is the backward P symbol in the upper left-hand corner of the document window. Suzanne, let's see if Word has more information on this icon. Click on the content-sensitive help arrow at the far right side of the standard toolbar. Now click on the Show Hide icon. When you do, the content-sensitive arrow displays a more detailed explanation of this icon's actions. This help arrow works with toolbar icons, pull-down menu commands, and within the body of our text. Click again to turn off the help box. So far, we've seen 3 levels of on-screen help: the tooltips, the status bar, and the help arrow. If you need more explanation of a command's action or on a specific topic, you can always use the help menu on the far right side of the menu bar. Now let's finish our review of the status bar. Suzanne, move your mouse pointer into the text area. When the mouse pointer is not in the toolbars area, the left side of the status bar displays information concerning our location in the document. It tells us which page, section, measurement on the ruler, plus line and column we are working on. The boxes on the right half of the status bar give us information about the status of the program as well as which typing mode we're using. Now let's look at the document window a little closer. In the middle of the screen is the text area, the document workspace. All of our work appears in this area. Although we haven't typed any text yet, we already have a few symbols on screen. These help us keep track of where our text appears. Just under the document title bar is the ruler. We can use it to set right and left document margins in addition to setting and removing tabs. We won't be using it in this lesson, so pull down the View menu and click on the ruler option to remove its check mark. The symbols at the bottom left-hand corner of the document window are quick function tool icons that allow us to change our screen view with the click of the button. Earlier, we saw these options at the top of the view menu. On the right-hand side and at the bottom of your document window are the standard window scroll bars. They make moving around in our document quick and easy. The vertical scroll bar at the right side of the window moves your view of the document up or down. The bottom scroll bar moves your view left or right. Suzanne, click on the document window's maximize icon to enlarge the document to full size again. Now that we know the various screen areas, Suzanne, let's enter some text. Before we start typing, I want you to look at the upper left corner of the document window. There are 3 symbols there. The first is the paragraph marker. It indicates a break between paragraphs. It is toggled on and off with the Show Hide icon. The dark horizontal line is the end of document marker. It marks the end of your document. The flashing vertical line is called the cursor or insertion mark. It serves as a place marker in a document. The cursor shows where your work will take place. Before we start typing, look at the right side of the status bar. The second box from the right informs us whether we are in the overtype or insert mode. The default setting is insert mode. In insert mode, you can add new text where the insertion point is located. Suzanne, press your insert key. The overtype abbreviation is now highlighted, which means we are now in the overtype mode. In this mode, typing new characters replaces existing text. We want to be in insert mode for this lesson, so press your insert key again, Suzanne, to toggle off the overtype mode. Now, type Video Professor at the top of the document, just as you see here. Notice how the cursor moves along at the end of your typing as you enter text. With that done, let's learn how to correct small typing mistakes.
Professor, why are there squiggly lines under the words?
The squiggly lines are part of Word's new automatic spell checking feature. Whenever you see these lines under your text, you know that they're not in Word's dictionary. Most of the time, this means the word or words are misspelled. However, the dictionary doesn't always recognize correctly spelled words, so it may underline proper names, scientific terms, and other uncommon words. We'll see how to handle those situations a little later in the lesson. Professor isn't spelled with an N, so press your backspace key once to backspace over that letter. You can use the backspace key to erase characters to the left of the cursor, one character at a time. Now type the correct letter R. Notice once the word is correctly spelled, the squiggly line is removed. There's another error in video. You could backspace everything to correct that error, but it's easier to move the cursor back to the exact place to correct that letter. You can move your cursor around your text area using your right and left, up and down arrow keys, or by using the mouse. Suzanne, move your mouse around the desk a little bit. Do you see the I bar moving while the flashing cursor stays in position at the end of your typing? This is where you can see the relationship between the cursor and the mouse pointer I bar. Position the I bar between the two E's in video and click your left mouse button. Do you see what happened to the cursor? It jumped to join the I bar. Now you can backspace out the first E or press your delete key to delete the second.
Professor, why is there a little dot between the words video and professor?
That dot represents a character space, and it appears each time you press your space bar, while the non-printing characters are toggled on. These character space symbols won't print, but they do help us see if there are too many spaces between words, punctuation, or sentences. In fact, you can insert or delete character spaces or any other paragraph symbol character just like the regular text characters. Suzanne used the mouse pointer to return the cursor to the end of the line. Remember to click to move the cursor. This method of moving the insertion point works no matter how long or short your document is. Now let's type some more text into your document. First, press the Enter key 3 times to add some blank lines after the first line. We now have 3 more paragraph marks or hard returns. They always represent the end of a paragraph, even if there isn't anything in the paragraph. Now enter the following text into your document exactly as you see it here. It has a few errors in it, but we'll fix those using some more of Word's editing tools. As you type, the text will automatically move on to the next line when it reaches the end of the current line. This is called word wrap. It is a standard feature of all word processing programs. There is no need to press return or enter unless you want to start a new paragraph or add blank lines. Viewers, you may need to pause the tape until you have entered all the text. Now we can take a look at some more of Word's editing features. Everyone's cursor should be at the end of the body of text. As we correct this text, I'll give you a few shortcut key commands that move the insertion point to different areas of text. We'll look at a few now and add more as we work with the text. Suzanne, pressing your home key returns the cursor to the beginning of the line you are currently working on. Pressing the end key moves the cursor to the end of the line. Press the home key again to get back to the front of the line. Then press the up arrow once to move the cursor to the beginning of the paragraph. The word "for" is correctly spelled, but it isn't the correct spelling for President Lincoln's famous speech. Suzanne, press the delete key 3 times to erase the first word. When you use the delete key, it erases whatever is immediately to the right of the cursor, 1 character at a time. Type the correct spelling of the word "for," F-O-U-R. Since we are in the insert mode, the other words move over to make room for this insertion. Suzanne, we have another squiggly line in our screen. This time it is under the word "brought." The word is spelled correctly, but the automatic spell checking feature also underlines repeated words that are next to each other. Use your mouse to move your cursor in front of the second "brought." We need to change this word to "fourth." There are several ways we can do this. The first would be to simply erase the word and then type in the new word. But here's another way. Press the insert button on your keyboard again to activate overtype mode. Now simply type the word "fourth." And then use the delete key to eliminate the extra letters. Press the insert key again to turn off overtype mode and make insert mode active again. Now you've seen the difference between insert and overtype. Let's move on. Suzanne, press your enter key. The text following the insertion point moves down a line.
Professor, that doesn't really look right to me. Can I get rid of that paragraph mark?
Yes, you can. At the top of the screen on the standard toolbar is the undo button, the one with the left pointing curved arrow. Click on that button and your unwanted hard return disappears. Word 7.0 has a multiple undo feature, which means that the program remembers everything you do to your document in order and can go back to undo those steps in order. Click on the drop-down arrow next to the undo button. Here is a list in reversed order beginning with your most recent action of everything you've done to this document. To undo multiple actions, you just drag down the list to mark as many steps as you want. Undo reverses most actions except saving and naming a file. We've already undone the unwanted step, so click on the drop-down box arrow again to close it without taking any further action. Before we go any further, Suzanne, let's save our document. Pull down the File menu.
Professor, there are 3 save choices. Which one should I use?
Good question, Suzanne. Each one of the 3 choices has a specific purpose, and we can get some tips right on the screen while we figure out which one of the commands we need right now. Use your arrow key to move the highlight down to save. Now look at the status bar. It tells us this command saves the active document. Well, that sounds good, but let's check the other commands first. Arrow down one more to check Save As. This one saves a copy of the document in a separate file, according to the status bar. Down once more, Suzanne. Save All saves all open files. Well, we only have this one file, so it looks like Save As is the one we want. Select Save As, Suzanne. A dialog box appears where you can tell Word 7.0 exactly how and where you want your document to be saved. The Save As dialog box is designed to help us store our file in the correct place. The Save In area indicates where our file will be saved. The default choice is the My Documents folder created for us when Windows 95 was installed. Suzanne, since we are going to save this file to floppy disk, let's see if we can find that disk drive. Click on the Save In drop-down list arrow. This lists all available places to save the file, including file folders and disk drives. Each person's computer will have a different assortment of drives, file folders, and files. Our system has drives A, C, D, and E. One of the choices is the 3.5 floppy A drive. Before clicking on it, first insert your blank disk into the A drive slot, then click this drive selection. If you are using the B drive to save your lesson files, click on B. Since there are no existing folders on the new disk, the center area remains blank. To the right of the Save In window, we have a number of helpful icons. The first icon is labeled Up One Level and allows us to walk up the tree structure of any chosen location. At this time, clicking on that icon moves us up one level to My Computer. Everyone should now see a listing of all the available drives on their system. To reselect your floppy disk, Suzanne, double-click on the A. The folder with the asterisk on it is the Look in Favorites icon. We can designate a group of folders as favorite file storage areas. Clicking on this icon will select them. The third icon, labeled Create New Folder, allows you to automatically make and name a folder to store your document in. Let's create a folder on our floppy disk. Suzanne, click on the New Folder icon. When the New Folder dialog box appears, type in VP Lessons as the new folder title. When you finish, click on the OK button or press your Enter key. We now have a new folder on our floppy disk. Suzanne, let's save our workbook file into this new folder. Double-click on it. The VP Lesson folder now appears as the file Save In location. The remaining four icons allow us to arrange and display our files and folders within the display window. At the bottom of the dialog box are two lines. The first, marked File Name, allows us to enter a file name for our workbook file. Press your Alt and N keys together to select this area. The list that appears allows us to quickly select an existing file name. This comes in handy when we want to create a safety copy of the file. For our file, type in a slice of Gettysburg. Type it in just as you see it on Suzanne's screen. And remember, with Windows 95, you are no longer limited to 8 letters, a period, and a 3-letter extension. You can use up to 255 ASCII characters, including spaces. The second line allows us to specify the file format we want our file stored in. With this option, we can save the workbook in another standard format such as Lotus, Works, or DBase. Suzanne makes sure the Word document file format is selected within this window. The DOC file extension will be added to this file during the save process. Suzanne, click on the Save button or simply press your Enter key. As soon as we do that, the Save As process begins and we can hear the computer writing to the A drive. Word 7.0 is saving the file into the new folder on our floppy disk. If you look at the title bar, you'll notice that a slice of Gettysburg has replaced the generic file name on the caption. Now that we have saved our document to our disk, we can practice opening and closing our document. Suzanne, click on the Document Windows Close button. Be sure to choose the document's Close icon. We don't want to close the Word program. Now let's check out a quick way to reopen documents. Pull down your File menu. At the bottom of the drop-down window, we'll see a list of most recently opened Word documents. The document we just closed is listed at the top of this list as the first entry. To reopen our document, press the number 1 key or click on the document title. Our document has now reopened. Using this method is quicker than going through the Open File dialog box. However, it only works on your most recent documents. Press your Alt and Dash keys together. This opens the document window's control menu. Now press your C key to close the window. Now click on the Open Icon button located on the top toolbar. It's the one with the Open File folder, the second from the left. We use the Look in Window box to select the file storage location of the desired file or folder. It works a lot like the Save In window within the Save As dialog box. Underneath it is the Files and Folders window. It displays all the files and folders within the selected storage space. Right now it should be showing the files on the VP Lessons folder. Suzanne, double-click on our files shown in the File folder window. Our file is once again shown in our Word 7.0 application window. So far we have learned how to get around in Word 7.0, how to enter text, and how to save, close, and open documents. Now let's move on to one of word processing's most powerful editing tools, blocking text. A basic rule of thumb when working with most word processing programs is that you must first identify what part or parts of your work you wish to modify. Then you perform the modification. The way to do this is by blocking portions of the text and then performing the command. We can block text as small as one letter or as large as an entire document or anything in between. Text is blocked by highlighting. This can be done with the mouse or keyboard. We saw how to use both blocking methods in my Level 2 tape on Windows 95. For this lesson, let's do a short review of those blocking skills. We'll also use word shortcut menus to copy and paste text. Suzanne, move your pointer down to the beginning of the 4-score paragraph. Click your left mouse button and hold it down. Now drag the mouse slowly to the right. You can mark one letter, one word, or a single line. Moving down will mark more lines or an entire paragraph. See how the text becomes highlighted? When the entire paragraph is highlighted, release the button. Suzanne pressed the Home key on your keyboard. Look what happens. The highlight disappears and your cursor returns to the beginning of the paragraph. To highlight text with the keyboard, you hold your Shift key down while using your arrow keys to guide the direction of the highlight. As long as you have the Shift key held down, you can reverse the direction of the highlight. Select everything in the paragraph except for the last paragraph marker. With the paragraph selected, move your mouse pointer into the block text, then press your right mouse button. We're given another shortcut menu. This one allows us quick access to the cut, copy, and paste commands, plus a few others. Click on the copy command, Suzanne. When you copy a piece of text, Word saves that copy in a memory location called the clipboard. The clipboard is a temporary storage area where the copied text is held until you tell Word what to do with it. In this case, you have copied your paragraph and the program is waiting for your instructions about where to put the copied text. It is a simple process. First, you position the insertion cursor in the desired location. Suzanne, click your mouse button at the end of the paragraph, then press your space bar twice. The highlighting on your marked text will disappear, but don't worry, it's safe on the clipboard. When you insert copied or moved text, it's called pasting. That's the second step. Click your right mouse button, then select the paste command from the shortcut menu. Now you have a copy, 2 sentences in the paragraph. Another nice thing to know about the clipboard is that you can use a copy repeatedly. Suzanne, press your Enter key twice, then click on the paste icon on the standard toolbar. There's our famous sentence again, this time in a new paragraph. We can also use text blocking to delete individual words, sentences, or entire sections of text, much quicker than deleting one character at a time using the backspace or delete key. Move your pointer to the beginning of the first paragraph. Position your pointer anywhere on the word fourscore, then double-click with your left mouse button. That word is now blocked. Press the delete key and watch the word disappear. To block a sentence, place your cursor anywhere in the sentence, hold down the Control key on the keyboard, and click your left mouse button once. Do that now to mark the remainder of this sentence, but don't delete it. To mark an entire paragraph, move your mouse pointer just outside the text area in the left margin. Now double-click to block the entire paragraph. Press the delete key and the entire paragraph is gone. Deleted copy is not saved on the clipboard like cut or copy data. When you use the delete function, Word 95 assumes you no longer need that piece of text or want to work with it, so it does not hold it in clipboard memory. However, you can restore deletions in reverse order by using the multiple undo key. Click on undo once, Suzanne, and watch the paragraph reappear. Click it again, and the single word, which was our first deletion, also returns. Your entire paragraph is now restored. Go back to the very top of your document and delete the line that says Video Professor. You'll need to hold down the Control key while double-clicking on either word. Now type by Abraham Lincoln. Now, Suzanne, we will cut that byline and move it to the bottom of the document. You can do this exactly the same way as copying, but I want to show you another way to move the text from one place and put it in another. Block the words by Abraham Lincoln. Now click on the block text and drag your mouse down to the very end of the document. Do you see the little square symbol added to the mouse pointer? This is the symbol for drag and drop edit. When your pointer is in the proper position, release the mouse button to drop the text in the new location. You should know that drag and drop does not use the clipboard to hold the text you are moving. Suzanne, click in the front of the B in buy, then press your Enter key twice. Suzanne, move your cursor back to the beginning of your document and type the words "the Gettysburg Address." We'll use this as our document title. Before we go on to the next section, take a minute to save your document. This time, use the Fast Save button on the toolbar. No dialog box will appear. Now we are ready to put the final touches on our document. It is always a good idea to proofread all your documents, and this program provides some very powerful tools to make producing perfect documents easy. The first of these tools is the spell checking program. Suzanne, just under the Insert menu is a standard toolbar icon with the letters ABC and a check mark on it. Click on it. It is the spell checking icon. Word will automatically underline any word it thinks is misspelled, matching that word against those in its dictionary. You can correct these words as you type or after you have completed your document. The spell checking program begins spell checking your document from the insertion point on. The first item is the misspelled word UPIN. Notice that it has already been underlined as a misspelled word. Look at the dialog box. The first line shows you the word in your document that is not found in the dictionary. Underneath that is a box entitled Change To, followed by a list of suggestions. These are the closest matches that Word can find in its dictionary. Chances are the words you really intended will be on this list. Click on Upon in this list. Now look at the buttons on the right side of the spell check dialog box. Selecting the Ignore button indicates you want the spell checker to skip over it one time. Ignore All tells the spell checker to ignore that particular word throughout the entire document. Clicking on the Change button tells the spell checker to replace the selected word in your document with the word in the Change To box one time. Whereas clicking on the Change All button tells the spell checker to replace the word every time it appears in the document. These last four commands work well within a single document. However, they don't help us if the misspelled word appears in another document. To do that, we need to use the Add button. As I mentioned earlier, Word's main dictionary doesn't contain every word in the English language. Many proper names, places, and technical terms commonly used in everyday conversations are excluded from the main dictionary. Fortunately for us, Word also includes a custom dictionary. Clicking on the Add button adds these type of words to the custom dictionary. Once they are in the dictionary, Word will recognize them as valid words for all your documents. Suzanne, click on Change to correct Upon and move to the next spelling error. The word continent is misspelled and the correct spelling is suggested. This time, Suzanne, click on Change All. Word will correct all the misspellings of continent in the document at once. Here's Upon again. Since we only corrected the spelling in the first sentence, the incorrect spelling remains in the second and third copies of that sentence. This time, the correct spelling is already suggested, so just click Change All to fix all the remaining copies of this word. When Word has finished spell checking the document, a dialog box tells us it is done. Click OK and the spell checker will close. Your document is now spelled correctly, but we still have a couple of semantic corrections to make. For this part of the lesson, we'll use the thesaurus to make these semantic corrections. We'll leave the first paragraph alone so we can compare the corrections made in the last paragraph with the first. Suzanne, place the cursor on the word country. Lincoln didn't say 77 years ago our forefathers brought forth upon this continent a new country. You probably know that he said our forefathers brought upon this continent a new nation. But what if you didn't? Or what if you needed to find a better word? At times like these, you reach for the word thesaurus. A thesaurus is similar to a dictionary, but instead of definitions, it lists words that mean the same or the opposite of the word in question. A thesaurus is the right tool for the job. There is no toolbar icon for this feature, but it is listed under the Tools menu. Pull down that menu, Suzanne, and click on the thesaurus. The looked up section in the top left corner of the dialog box is there simply to remind us what word we started with. Below that box is a list of meanings. Since many words have more than one meaning, you must help Word by telling it which meaning is closest to the one you really want. This helps us find the most appropriate synonyms. Sometimes you have to look no further than the list of meanings to find the right word. Nation is the word we are looking for. But suppose you wanted to use a different word meaning the same thing. Click on the word nation in the meanings list, and a whole new list of synonyms appears in the Replace With column. Click on Kingdom, Suzanne. Then click the Look Up button to see still another list of options that you could choose from. Click on the Previous button to get back to your original list of choices and select Nation again. Notice that the choice you highlight automatically appears in the Replace With synonym box. Select Replace to tell the program to replace the old word with your new selection. And there it is. Also notice that Word scrolled the document up so we could have a better view of the correction. We're almost finished with this document, but there is one more thing left to correct. The word women should read men. In this lesson, we have learned several ways to edit this text. Go ahead and make this last correction using any method you like. When you finish, press your Control and Home keys together to position the cursor at the top of the document window. Thesaurus changes are effective only at the place where you change them, unlike the Change All feature in the spell checker. Notice that both sentences in the first paragraph still have the original words in them. Before we proceed to our final step, be sure to save your document with all your changes. Now we're ready to print this document. Viewers, if you don't have a printer attached to your system, just watch this section and follow along for future reference. Before you actually print, it's always a good idea to see how your document will look to be sure you have not made any format errors. To do this, we will use the Print Preview function. Click on the Print Preview button and a preview version of your page will appear. The preview gives you a good idea of how your page will look when it is printed. To read any selected area of print within this preview screen, move the magnifying glass pointer onto the area you want to read. Then click the left mouse button to zoom in on that area. To zoom out, click the right mouse button. Everything looks okay, so click on the Close button to get out of the preview mode. Now let's print. Select Print from the File menu and a dialog box appears. Word offers many options for printing and requires you to answer several prompts before it will print. Viewers, the choices in this dialog box are specific to the printer, so your options may be different than ours. Our first field is entitled Printer Name. It displays which printer is currently selected. If you have more than one printer available to you, or if you have a fax program as a print option, you can switch between your printer options by opening the Printer Name drop-down list and selecting a different printer. If you have only one printer option, it will automatically choose your default printer, and you won't get this list of options. Page range tells the program exactly what portion of your document you want printed. You can print the entire document, just the current page, or a selection of particular pages. We want to print our entire document, which is only one page. Word has selected All as its default setting, so the program will print the whole document. Because this is a one-page document, you can select either All or a current page, because in a one-page document, it means the same thing. Click on Current Page, Suzanne. See how the black dot moves to mark the new selection? The Pages option allows us to print specific pages of a document. For example, if our document were 25 pages long, we could tell Word to print page 11 through 18 or another array of pages. Under the print range is the Print What field. Open the drop-down list, Suzanne. Look at all the choices. You can print the actual document itself, which is what you will probably be printing most of the time, but you could also choose to print, say, just the document summary. For now, make sure Document appears in the Print What field. Next to the Print What box is another box called Print. Within its drop-down list, you have the choice of printing odd, even, or all pages in a range. Make sure that all pages in range is shown in the print box. Next, Word asks you to tell it how many copies of your document you want. You probably only want to print one copy of this document, so leave that as it is. Above the number of copies dialog box is a print to file box. The print to file option allows you to save a printed version of a document in a file for later use. For now, be sure there is not a check mark in that box. Below the number of copies box is the collate copies option. This option is helpful when you are printing more than one copy of your document. The graphics show us how the pages will be collated or organized when the document is finally printed. The default setting tells Word to collate pages as they are being printed. If you are printing only one copy of a multi-page document, it won't matter if this option is toggled on. Well, it looks like you're all set now, so click on the OK button. There is another way to print your document, Suzanne. We have a quick print icon on the standard toolbar. It will print your document exactly as you last set it up, and no dialog box will appear. Before we proceed with this lesson, click on the Save icon again. As I mentioned at the beginning of this lesson, one of the great advantages of the Windows environment is its ability to mix several types of information in a single document. In the next few minutes, Suzanne and I will show you how to add a graphic image to the top of this document. We won't go into a lot of detail here, but you will learn the basic concepts behind inserting and manipulating graphic images within a Word document. Suzanne, let's create a company logo for President Lincoln. Make sure the insertion point is at the very beginning of the document, then pull down the Insert menu. Once opened, click on the Object command that appears at the bottom of the menu. This dialog box gives us an option of selecting either an existing object file or creating a new object. Objects can be Word document files, spreadsheet files, a slide created in PowerPoint, or a bitmap image created in a draw program. An object can be resized, copied, or moved like a block section of text. Suzanne, let's create an object using the Microsoft WordArt 2.0 program. Use the scroll bar in the Create New page to find it. Once found, click on it, then click on the OK button. The WordArt program allows us to type in text and modify that text to create logos and other graphic objects for insertion into Word documents. Type Honest Abe's Inc. at the upper left corner of the document. Once done, pull down the Line and Shape drop-down list. We are going to apply a new shape to our text. Suzanne, click on the shape box in the 5th row of the 6th column. You know you have the right one when the words Deflate Top appear in the Line and Shape window. Notice that the document text box immediately shows how the applied shape affects our text. Suzanne, while the text is still selected, click on the bold icon to boldface our logo. Once done, click your mouse pointer below the text box to turn off the WordArt program. Now move your pointer to the little square on the right side of this text box. When the pointer turns into a two-sided arrow, click your left mouse button and drag the text box outline to the right side of the document. When you release the mouse button, the text is centered across the page. The logo looks okay, but it could use a little more formatting. Double-click within the text box to reactivate the WordArt program. Now click on the stretch icon so our logo stretches across the text box. The icon has an A with little arrows pointing away from it. There, Abe's logo is starting to take shape. Let's add a little more. Click on the shadow icon. Once the shadow box appears, click on the icon at the far right side of the examples. It shows a shadow being cast directly behind the letter H. Once selected, click on OK, then click outside the text box area. Suzanne, click on the bottom line's middle resizing box, then drag the outline down about 1/2 inch and release. We just made the object taller. Now move your mouse pointer into the text box. Click and hold your right mouse button down. When the little box appears on the pointer, drag that pointer to the end of the first paragraph. This new icon tells us that we are moving an object or selection of text somewhere. It even has its own insertion mark. When this insertion mark reaches the end of the first paragraph, release the mouse button. Our logo has a new location and the bottom paragraph moved down to accommodate the insertion. Move it back to the top of the document, Suzanne. Remember to use the right mouse button, not the left. Also make sure you see the insertion marker move in front of the very first paragraph marker before you release the button. There are many things you can do to an object once it is inserted within a Word document. You can move the object, make copies of the object, resize the object, plus modify the object with formatting commands. Suzanne, click on the print preview icon so we can get an overall view of our document before actually printing it. Not bad. Remember, you can click your left mouse button to get a closer look at a document's details. And a simple click on the right mouse button zooms the preview screen out. Everything looks okay, so go ahead and click on the print button to send our document to the printer. Once done, click on the close button to close the preview screen. Thank you, Suzanne, for your assistance with this lesson. Remember, there's so much more you can learn from me, the video professor.